So I took down a video that I made a couple weeks ago called "So You Think You're a Witch, Think Again," because I was seeing so many channels out there on YouTube misrepresenting what it is to be a witch. And so I got kind of angry and I made a video, but I've taken that down because I don't want to discourage people from going on this path. But a lot of things they're talking about is not what a witch is, but they just don't know. So they're reading more from books instead of having these actual experiences. And so I watched a video today that came up in my feed about what a witch's familiar is, and it's not accurate. So I'm going to tell you what it is. I've had a couple requests for more information on this topic, and not a lot of people talk about it because it gets kind of in the nitty-gritty and kind of unbelievable. But I'm working with more and more people that are really what I consider natural witches. They've had some types of initiations. They're having interactions with beings. They don't know what's going on. And you could really, think you're going crazy and start taking medication and stuff. But what you're actually doing is you had an initiation. So I'll talk more about that at another time. So today's video is about the witch's familiar, or I like to call the fetch. So what this is it's not your pet, which a lot of people think it is. It's not your personal pet that you have at home. Okay, so this is an interdimensional being that comes to you. And if you're a natural witch or it's in your blood, your fetch will materialize and it will scare you and you will not know what's going on. And sometimes it can come in the form of an animal. It can come anthropomorphic, where it's half animal, half human, or it can just come in a human form. This is not something that was invented during the witch trials, as some people say. This is an actual phenomenon. It's very common in shamanic cultures. So I had been engaging with my fetch for years, not really knowing what it was. And I just would experience it and be like, all right, and then just try to be like, forget about what happened. And then I met my fetch beast. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story. It did happen in a particular place that I think is very powerful. I'm going to share that story on Patreon. So if you are a Patreon member on the $25 level or above, you will get to hear my story of meeting my fetch beast. And yeah, in the Norse tradition, your fetch beast is called your fylgja. And it's in all the records, and it talks about ancient Norse. This is not a new concept. Again, you can find all these concepts in Egypt and India, China, It's not a new concept. It's very common in shamanism slash witches, because witches are shamans. So I want to talk about what I consider the fetch mate. So like I said before, shamans, even currently now, they have this fetch mate. They call it a spirit husband, spirit wife. And it comes to you. You are assigned with this fetch at birth. This fetch mate can materialize. And I'm not talking you meeting your soulmate or twin flame and all that kind of stuff. No, this is, they're kind of holographic, but when they touch you, it is physical. And you do have a sexual relationship with these beings. Now, the Bible will demonize these. It does say in the witch trials about, having sex, and they call it the devil. So anything that was interdimensional, fairy beings or anything like that, they called all that the devil. Your fetch mate comes from the underworld, where we all come from. So you have this relationship. When they come into your life, you experience what is called eros gamos. Now, a lot of people in the New Age community think that that's something that, this amazing sex that you have with another person. But what it is that you have this sexual exchange with your fetch mate. And that is eros gamos. And that is your initiation. That is you being initiated into your vocation of working for the underworld, the other world, inner earth, whatever you want to call it. And so now you've established this relationship. What happens is that they give you wisdom and knowledge, and they actually ask you to do certain things, and it's for the benefit of earth. And in exchange for that, you give them sexual energy. So, as I said, there is an exchange of energy for everything. And that's why I tell people, when you do any work, whether you consider it spiritual or not, you have to charge, or else your work is ineffective. There's always an energetic exchange. So these fetch mates will help you with divination, again, increase your wisdom, help you with your craft. I want to just put it out there because I think some people are having these experiences and not knowing what they are. So sometimes you can't see them, you can only feel them. And the sexual exchanges, I'm going to put it out there. If you have a hole somewhere in your body, it will be filled. Let's just put it that way. Because we're such scared humans and we've been so cut off from the other world for so long, we don't know what's going on, so we panic. And a lot of the times when you begin this relationship with your fetch mate, you will become celibate. And again, that's why you see a lot of witches living by themselves out in the forest, is because they are in a relationship with their fetch mate, their spirit husband, their spirit wife. And the kind of sexual exchanges you have are like nothing you've ever experienced with another human. Everything is full body, orgasmic. You can twist and turn and do things that you can't normally do. And that is because when you have this hieros, you develop a second skin. And if you want to call New Age is calling it, I think, the light body. But it was always considered the witch's second skin. In the Norse tradition, it is referred to as the Haminga. And this is also, the second skin is what I leave my body in and go to the underworld. So it's a big important part of the whole experience, because when you have this hieros with your fetch mate, you now work for the underworld, which in turn you work for the community, for Earth, and for humanity. And you also go through a lot of DNA activation that's been dormant. And so you feel a lot of strange things in your body, connections being made, sounds and everything. Occasionally I see that I'm being worked on. If you watched my video from my experience in Mexico, I was working with energy. There's so much to what it is that is a familiar is, or a fetch mate. And it's not what's being talked about out there. Again, it's not your pet at home. Okay. So it's an actual interdimensional being, both the animal form and the human form that sometimes will be anthropomorphic. And because my second skin has developed, I can also shape shift in this second skin. And so whatever shape my fetch comes in, I can actually match that. And if we want to be half animal, half human, we can do that. And have sexual exchanges. I can shape shift into my figure and run around and do things, but that's all done in your second skin. So I will talk more about this subject on Patreon and maybe on future videos. Again, I think I mentioned this before. The fetch is not your servant and you just give commands and, you know, put a curse here, put a spell there. That's not what they are. They work. This is universal too, not just with your fetch. The universe doesn't work for you, it works with you. You can't beg and plead and just please come in and do that. Do whatever it is for me. The universe is not going to take over and just do it for you. It will do it with you. You have to get up off your knees begging and take some type of action, and then the universe or your fetch mate will come along and help you with that. I do have some incantations to make the connection with your fetch, but I do not give that out unless I work with the person for quite a while until I think that they are ready, and then I will give them the incantation. So yeah, I'm not giving that out for sure. All right, so that's what a familiar / fetch really is. It's a sexual relationship that you have with this interdimensional being that was assigned to you at birth. It is not your pet. All right, that's it for today, and I will see you on the next video.